Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is up, everybody? Hello, how are you doing? This is the IE Elite Wrestling Show with your boy, the SoCal Saint. That's right, the SoCal Saint is back live on Spreaker.com. If you're listening live on the download, if you're listening on YouTube, or if you're listening on at our official website at iesportsradio.com. If you're listening on the main page for my show, that would be iesportsradio.com / the IE Elite Wrestling Show. A lot has happened, guys, over the last couple days. We just went through the Royal Rumble this past Saturday night, live in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. It was an awesome event, great, just amazing event. I was very satisfied with how everything went. A lot of stuff went down. We saw two winners of the Royal Rumble crowned, and we saw the destruction of Sami Uso and the Bloodline. We're going to talk about that as well. We got some other things to talk about in the world of professional wrestling. We got a quick little New Japan Pro Wrestling tidbit I want to share with everyone at the top of the hour here. Also, I got a list of new recruits from WWE's college recruiting system that they do now. It's called the NIL. I honestly forgot exactly what it stands for, but I'll look that up and have it ready for you guys when we get to that point of the show to talk about the new recruits for the Performance Center, which will then become the newest stars of WWE's NXT roster. So much to talk about live on the newest edition of IE Sports Radio's direct feed for all that is professional wrestling, the IE Elite Wrestling Show. Welcome, guys. Welcome. How's it going? Oh, man. It has been a little bit of a crazy time here, so I do apologize for the technical difficulties that kept me from doing the show yesterday. I wholeheartedly apologize. I'm just glad you guys are with me today. Hopefully you guys saw the tweet that I sent out to be here live. If not, listening on the download will do just fine, hopefully. But yes, the reason why, I just want to clear up for everyone, there was some mix-up with our sign-in information into Spreaker, but also on my end of things here in Fort Worth, we just went through a random crazy winter storm where there's still ice and sleet on the ground, and I know our internet was taking a bit of a hit yesterday because of it. That's what kind of kept me from doing the show, so I do apologize, but I'm glad you guys are with me today, listening in for the show today. So tonight, what I want to get into right now actually is a bit of this is actually big news for the world of professional wrestling, at least on the Japan side of things. If you're a fan of Japanese professional wrestling, New Japan just sent this out about 18 hours ago. I came across this announcement. New Japan Pro Wrestling has officially announced that Kota Ibushi, the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, former IWGP Never Openweight Champion, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion, and former tag team partner of AEW's Trios Tag Team Champions, the Elite. Of course, I'm speaking of Kenny Omega. Kota Ibushi has officially left the company. And in the official statement, it says, with the conclusion of his contract period on January 31st of 2023, which was yesterday, Kota Ibushi has departed New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ibushi had been recovering from an injury since October of 2021. So Ibushi had not been seen in the company since October of 2021. So he went the whole 2022 without ever appearing on New Japan television. And this is what they also stated in the official announcement. We apologize to Ibushi's fans for the abrupt announcement and join them in wishing Ibushi the very best in all his future endeavors. So Kota Ibushi no longer a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is crazy because Ibushi was actually the first wrestlers that the Elite and Tony Khan tried to go after whenever the initial creation of All Elite Wrestling happened, because Kota and Kenny had been tagging up until that point. Again, the Golden Lovers, they were known as. They were on a second go around, which is cool. And then they formed a little mini stable with the Young Bucks called the Golden Elite. And a lot of people thought that Kota would have been prime and ready to join AEW with his good friend Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in the inception of the company, especially when Kota was in the main event of All Out, which a lot of people view retroactively as the beginning of All Elite Wrestling, as the very first All Elite Wrestling show. Not All Out. All In is what it used to be, is what the original pay-per-view was called, All In, where it was Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega wrestled Pentagon Jr. on that show, but in the main event, it was Kota Ibushi and the Young Bucks teaming up against Rey Mysterio, Bandito, and I think Rey Fenix was the other luchador in that match. I believe so. And that was the main event for All In. So, but Kota decided to stay in New Japan, and that's where a lot of it seemed like he got a huge push whenever he decided to stay, almost like a thank you for not leaving the company, along with the Bucks and Kenny. So he became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He became the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. But then I had heard some things about Kota Ibushi not getting along with some of the management there, and it just became like just an ongoing issue back and forth. Kota and the president of New York. I hear them look at now. His first day his wrestling Death Match Cardona. He had to make his debut. The debut at 20 will be take place in Los Angeles during WrestleMania weekend, he is also set to compete at Barnett's Bloodline and Joey Janela's Spring Break, but his opponents have not been yet announced. Will be at the W Collective event. It doesn't have an official date, but it does say it will be in Los Angeles, California. Oh, I got that wrong. Okay, the collective separate event, collectively just a double event for Josh Barnett Bloodsport and Joey Janela's Spring Break. So on Thursday, March 30th at we're in Anderson Live here. It's going to be Los Angeles at. I'm going to put up here so I can. If fans have heard this, you can look at yourself. Especially if you're going to be in the area for a weekend. If you already live there and you want to see wrestling live, it's going to be at the Ukrainian Cultural Center in Los Angeles, California, on both dates. Thursday, March 30th, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 9, and following Friday, March 31st, Joey Janela's Spring Break 7. Kota Ibushi is going to be making his GCW debut during WrestleMania weekend, and these are the first that I know of, first New Japan dates that have been announced for Kota Ibushi since his departure from New Japan just 24 hours ago. So, all right, guys, for that this is a weekend. This is the year. WrestleMania weekend is only the week of the year for the WWE. This is the wrestling period because a lot of different wrestling companies come together of indie wrestlers. A lot of legends, a lot of current stars in the business, they make their bread and butter here at WrestleMania weekend. A lot of conventions that are announced, there's signings, there's autographs, there's meet and greets, there's events, like I stated, happen during the week of WrestleMania, and this is where these guys and gals make the most. This is where they earn their biggest payday of the year will be during WrestleMania weekend. So do yourself a favor if you're not already supporting the WWE, going to WrestleMania or SmackDown or the Hall of Fame, any of the other events WWE is pulling. Support independent and go check out the shows. Also during WrestleMania weekend, it's going to be Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor. That's going to be happening during WrestleMania weekend as well. And that's, of course, affiliated with AEW since Tony Khan owns both AEW and Ring of Honor. So, Ring of I don't consider Ring of Honor an independent company anymore since it's under a bigger umbrella of AEW. But, support independent wrestling, support GCW, support Impact Wrestling, support your local wrestling company that's out there in Los Angeles or other city that you live in that you're listening to. Speaking of Ring of Honor and AEW, I just wanted to throw I know we talked last week on a very somber note, the untimely passing of Jay Briscoe. On January 17th, the wrestling world lost one of its most beloved family members when Jamin Pugh, a.k.a. known professionally as Jay Briscoe, one half of the Briscoe brothers, he tragically lost his life in an automobile accident. He was a member of the Ring of Honor roster, and he was a current in his 13th reign as Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion with his brother Mark. And they really were the foundation of Ring of Honor. If you really think about it, those guys never left. They've always been a mainstay of that company. Even when Ring of Honor was up for sale and they got bought by All Elite Wrestling, they're still affiliated with the company, but they did have, different ventures while Ring of Honor sat in limbo. The Briscoes went to Game Changer Wrestling, GCW, and won tag team titles there. They went to Impact Wrestling and won tag team gold there. So these guys overall have been champions everywhere they've been. And if you want to show your support for the Pugh family, for Jay's widow and his children who are doing better, they're recovering. They're out of the hospital now. Jay was just laid to rest over the weekend. Sunday, the Sunday after the Royal Rumble, January 29th, was the day that Jay Briscoe was laid to rest by his family and loved ones. But if you want to, as a wrestling fan, I know there really isn't much we can do, but if you find it in your hearts, if you want to donate to anything to help out Jay Briscoe's family, I suggest doing this. I'm gonna do this myself. I'm gonna be purchasing a shirt today, and you could do the same if you go to shopaew.com/Jay Briscoe Reach for the Sky. J-Briscoe-Reach-for-the-Sky, or if you just go to shopaew.com, or if you go to prowrestlingtees.com, you can find it on any website, either one of those websites. There's a t-shirt in memory of Jay Briscoe with his picture, an awesome picture of him holding the Ring of Honor World Tag Team title belt, and it says Jay Briscoe, reach for the sky, his quote, his catchphrase, and it has the years of his life listed as well, and 100% of the proceeds go to benefit the family of Jay Briscoe. So if any wrestling fans out there want to show your support for Jay Briscoe and your love for everything that he ever did during his wrestling career that entertained you, it made you feel good about yourself, or just put you in a better mood, or anything like that, because these wrestlers, they do a lot. It's their job to entertain us, yes, but they make a lot of sacrifices, time away from their families, pain on their bodies, time on the road, in and out of shitty rental cars, in and out of shitty hotels, in and out of shitty places to eat. Wrestlers do a lot when it comes to entertaining fans, and if we can give a little back to the guys and gals that entertain us over the years, the least we can do is spend about $25 on a t-shirt that will go to benefit Jay Briscoe's family. So yes, please, fans, if you feel it in your hearts, IE Sports Radio fans, go to shopaew.com, or like I said, prowrestlingtees.com. Check out the shirt. It says Jay Briscoe, Reach for the Sky. 100% of the proceeds go to benefit the family of Jay Briscoe. Just wanted to throw that out there, guys, if you're interested. We'll be back here shortly. We're going to get into some WWE news. And the first thing we'll be getting into on the WWE side of things is, actually, I spoke at the top of the hour, is, I finally figured out what the NIL part of that program that WWE runs stands for. It's WWE's Next in Line program. This is the program that WWE, they go and recruit athletes, male and female athletes, from colleges around the United States and the world, to be new signees to the company. They train at the Performance Center, and a new class of athletes has been signed, and we're going to get into that shortly after this quick break from one of our many, many awesome shows on the IE Sports Radio family. IE Sports Radio, of course, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be back, guys.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports, exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Welcome back to the IE Elite Wrestling Show with your boy, the SoCal Saint. How's it going, guys? If you're listening live, thank you. If you guys are just now tuning in, we were just talking about some New Japan Pro Wrestling news. Kota Ibushi is no longer with the company. He is a free agent as of last night. And if you're wanting to help out in any way, shape, or form and get an awesome new t-shirt, go to ProWrestlingTees.com or ShopAEW.com and purchase yourself a Jay Briscoe Reach for the Sky tribute shirt. 100% of the proceeds go to the family of Jay Briscoe. All right, fans, right before the little break we just had, I talked about WWE's Next in Line program. They've already have 2 classes that have been announced over the last year or so. And this right here, I have the list of the 3rd class of athletes that have been signed by the WWE to train at the Performance Center and potentially one day become new stars of the WWE. And this is how, as the list goes. Abby Jacobs. And they were recruited out of South Alabama. They are known for the sport of soccer. Alexandra Jasic, recruited out of Mary, Washington, and her sport is tennis. Alia Armstrong, recruited out of LSU, out of the sport is track and field, and she's a hometown girl, and her hometown is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Cameron Jones, recruited out of Cincinnati, sport of football. Dee Beckwith, recruited out of Kentucky, also sport playing football. Greg Kirkvillett, college that he was recruited out of, Penn State, and he is a wrestler for Penn State. Isaiah Aiton, recruited out of Rutgers University, sport of football. Jaden Fields, recruited out of Georgia, softball. Landon Jackson, recruited out of Arkansas, sport of football as well. Maddie Albach, recruited out of Youngstown State, and her sport is basketball. Nick Dawkins, recruited also out of Penn State, also for playing football. Otanil Bandiha, I hope I'm saying that right. I do apologize if I'm butchering that name. Recruited out of the University of Pittsburgh for track and field. Peyton Prusen, recruited out of Life University for wrestling. Tori Ortiz, recruited out of Oklahoma State for track and field. And last but not least, Turner Washington, recruited out of Arizona State for track and field. These are the newest signees of the WWE's Next in Line program, and they will be training at the WWE Performance Center down there in Orlando to be the newest members of the WWE NXT roster. All right, guys, and the next thing on the docket would be the Royal Rumble. I hope a lot of you fans, I was pushing it on every episode that I've done so far. The Royal Rumble, this last one, it was the 36th annual event in its history. It was coming to you live from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, and that was this past Saturday night. My prediction came to pass. The first match on the card was the men's Royal Rumble match that saw the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes return at the number 30 spot. It came down to Cody and Gunther, who was the number 1 spot in the Royal Rumble. He lasted over 70 minutes. Got to give it up to Gunther. What a way to just show... what a way to build up the Intercontinental Championship by showing the Intercontinental Champion in such a strong light. And not only that, Gunther just hit another milestone. Not only did he set a Royal Rumble record this week, he also set a record for longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of the modern era at 235 days as of today. Gunther is the Intercontinental Champion, outbeating previous record holder who he was in the ring with on Saturday night, Cody Rhodes, who up until this point had the record at 233 days. So It was funny that it came down to those two, and Cody outlasted Gunther, last eliminating Gunther to win the men's Royal Rumble match. And he has already made it very clear as of this past Monday night on Raw, and it is set. They've already sent out photos. I've seen it on Twitter. I've shared it myself. It will be for the undisputed Universal WWE Championship. It will be the head of the table, Roman Reigns, defending the championship against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. It's already set in stone. I just don't know what night yet. They have not announced which night of WrestleMania that will take place on. If it's going to be WrestleMania Night 1 or it'll be WrestleMania Night 2. Who knows? And the other winner of the women's Royal Rumble match came in at number 1. She outlasted all 29 other athletes that came into that match, and also set a Royal Rumble record for the women's Royal Rumble match for the longest time spent in the match, over 60 minutes. The only female member of the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, which I was very happy about. I was going for Rhea. I thought she would be the most logical winner of this event. It was either going to be her or Asuka in my mind that was going to end up being the winner. It actually came down to the last three. It was Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Rhea eliminated Asuka and Liv to win the match. And just like Cody, Rhea came out on Monday Night Raw and already announced it. She wants to run it back to 2 years ago at WrestleMania, where she lost the 3 years ago, where she lost the NXT Women's Championship to the winner of the Royal Rumble that year for the women, Charlotte Flair. Rhea has not forgotten about that match. She has not forgotten about that loss. And now she wants to run it back and take the title, the SmackDown Women's title, from Charlotte Flair. It's set in stone. It'll be Charlotte Flair defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. So there you go. We already have 2 main event matches already set for WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley challenging Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title, and Cody Rhodes challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal WWE Championship. Other matches that took place at the Royal Rumble, the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, which was definitely not what I was expecting. I said it for weeks and weeks that I assumed that this would be a cinematic type of match, in the vein of like the Firefly Funhouse match or the Ultimate Deletion, or the Boneyard match that Taker and AJ Styles had, and Taker's last match at WrestleMania a few years back. But I definitely did not expect it to be what it was, which was a day glow in the dark match, basically, where like the lights, it was all black lights, the ring ropes were glowing, they had on glowing paint on Bray Wyatt, LA Knight's trunks were like day glow highlighter yellow color. This was just bad. It was really, really bad. I was expecting something a lot different. Especially with this being the technical first match of Bray Wyatt since his return last fall. Just really, really dumb. Honestly, I was not a fan of this. It was just really, really dumb. All of it was just so disappointing and just so unnecessary. And they tried. I have to give it up to Bray and LA Knight. They tried their best. They tried to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, but they just couldn't. I'm sorry, I was not a fan of that. It was just not. It was not up to par. Let's just put it that way. I feel bad. I really feel bad for LA Knight because this was like his coming out party, really like his first big feud, and I feel like it was just wasted on such a stupid concept. I don't know why the Mountain Dew thing had to be a part of it, and I don't know why it had to be this. Like, if these guys could have just had a match, it probably would have been a lot better without all the stupid, glow-in-the-dark black light shit surrounding it. It was just really unnecessary. And then the way it ended with Uncle Howdy and the puppets are now humans. I don't know. It's just a lot of unnecessary, stupid shit. And then after that, a very uneventful match for the Raw Women's Championship between Alexa Bliss and Bianca. Bianca retained the women's Bianca Belair retained the women's Raw Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, over Alexa. And this match could have happened on Raw. I mean, there was nothing really special about the match that really stood out. Nothing for me that really stood out at all. Things that did stand out was the return of Logan Paul and him eliminating Seth Rollins from the Royal Rumble, which was crazy. Logan Paul, of course, I didn't think he would actually make it to the Rumble because of the knee injury that he suffered during his match with Roman at Crown Jewel, but apparently he's all healed up now. And him and Ricochet did this crazy spot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, fans, look it up because you got to see it to believe it because it was amazing. From either side of the ring, they springboarded off the top rope and cross-body blocked each other in midair. I mean, I can't describe it anyway. You just have to see it for yourself. Look it up on YouTube. See if you can find it on Twitter. But that spot was a big highlight of the match. And another highlight, which I think was planting the seeds for a WrestleMania match, Logan Paul eliminated Seth freaking Rollins from the Royal Rumble. And I know Logan Paul wanted to compete against John Cena at WrestleMania, but I think Cena's spot is reserved for Austin Theory because I think that they're going with the idea of Austin Theory versus John Cena at WrestleMania, which is cool, I guess. I mean, sure. I think I would have actually liked to have seen Cena and Paul going back and forth and see what could come from that. But Rollins and Logan Paul is not a bad match. I mean, if you've seen the match with Roman that Logan Paul had at Crown Jewel, if you haven't, actually do yourself a favor. I know Logan Paul is an insufferable douchebag, but give the guy credit where credit is due. He put on a hell of a match with Roman at Crown Jewel, and I think at WrestleMania he can have a hell of a memorable match with Seth freaking Rollins standing on the other side of the ring from him. So if that was the planting the seed part of the event, then that's cool. I'm cool with that. In the women's match, we saw the return of Chelsea Green, the real-life wife of Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, in the WWE. She showed up to the WWE Women's Royal Rumble match and set a record for the shortest amount of time in a Women's Royal Rumble match, being eliminated 5 seconds after entering the ring. And apparently she's now part of the Raw roster. She was back on Raw this past Monday night on Raw, so they're already using her in some capacity, which is cool. When Asuka showed up, it was the Asuka returned in an old gimmick that she used to use in not New Japan, but in Stardom and other women's wrestling organizations in Japan, known as Kana, which was the evil side of Asuka. The evil Asuka, basically, with the way her makeup was done and spitting the mist out of her mouth. Like this actually got a huge pop from the crowd when she revealed her face paint after taking off her mask. I think Asuka's going to get pushed to the moon here, and I think Asuka is going to end up being in a title match. I really think it'll be Asuka and Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. I'm calling it now. But also, unexpectedly, the number 30 spot, I did not see this coming. I didn't hear anything about this. Nothing like this. Nia Jax returned to the WWE, and apparently this wasn't just a one-off, because right after that, they announced on WWE Shop, they had a brand new t-shirt for her up for sale. So it looks like Nia Jax has signed a new contract with the WWE. Nia Jax back in the company after being let go during the pandemic layoffs that's how a lot of guys get and gals get laid off. I was not expecting that Nia Jax would be one of those people rehired. Did not see that coming, especially seeing multiple interviews that she had stating that she didn't want to be back in the WWE, that she sounded like a very disgruntled ex-employee that would not have gotten a second chance, but I have no idea. Who knows? Under this new regime, I guess they decided to give her another go. So Nia Jax is now back in the WWE. And I don't know what roster she's on because she wouldn't show up on Raw. So maybe they're going to put her on the SmackDown roster. Or maybe she'll end up being a female member of the Bloodline. Who knows? Because she is a cousin of The Rock and related to Roman and the Usos, just like The Rock is. So who knows? Because they may need a new member after what happened in the main event of the Royal Rumble, which of course was for the Undisputed Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was defeated soundly by Roman and aggressively by Roman, but that was enough for Roman and the Bloodline. They attacked Kevin Owens after the match with Sami Zayn sitting there and just watching them decimate his best friend with super kick after super kick after super kick, being beat down, finally being handcuffed to the top rope. Roman was about to demolish Reigns with a chair shot to the head when Sami stepped in and tried to speak. He tried to talk some sense into Roman, stating that this was above you. He didn't need to do this. He's had enough. And that's when Roman gave the chair to Sami and said, "Yeah, it's too good for me, but now you do it." And he was yelling at Sami like, "Everything I've done for you." This was prime television, man. This was the culmination of 9 months of storyline with Sami being in the Bloodline, Sami trying to be accepted by Roman. It all came ahead to this one moment, and Sami whacks Roman right in the back with a steel chair, officially turning on Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. And just that look where he turned to the Usos and he said, "I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry." And you can see the pain in Jay's eyes after he finally accepted Sami. After months of not trusting Sami, he just couldn't take it. And Jimmy hitting Sami with a super kick, and they just laid into Sami Zayn with chair shot after chair shot. Solo, Jimmy, and Roman just beating the hell out of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And Jey Uso, during this, just left. He just got out of the ring and walked away from his brother, both his brothers, and his cousin, the tribal chief. What does this mean for the Bloodline? Is the Bloodline now down to Roman, Jimmy, and Solo? And the wise man, Paul Heyman? What does this mean? I cannot wait to see what is going to happen this Friday night on SmackDown after that ending that took place at the Royal Rumble. Man, just insane, guys. Insane. If you did not see the Royal Rumble, this was definitely one of the best Royal Rumbles in quite some time. It was definitely better than last year's Royal Rumble. Last year's Royal Rumble was hot garbage. This definitely made up for that. This was a very entertaining Royal Rumble, even with the missteps of the Raw Women's Championship match and the Pitch Black fiasco. Even with those missteps, the highlights were definitely the two Rumble matches and the main event right there. That alone, those three right there alone, were worth the price of admission, especially if you were there live. You know what I'm saying? But just crazy, just an awesome ending, man. Like this is how you tell a story. Long-term storytelling. This is what you get out of it, and that's what we got at the Royal Rumble in the main event. At the very end of the show, you could feel the people invested. I was invested, sitting at home watching it with my dad. It was just, everything about it was just emotional. Like you could see it pulling on people's heartstrings, and the fans just ate it up, all of it. And that's what you want. That was perfection. That was pure storytelling perfection right there. And, this is what I gotta say. This is what WWE's known for, guys. They did their damn thing. 9 months of build up for this big moment, and it certainly paid off dividends. All right, guys, we'll be back. Let's hear from another one of our awesome members of the IE Sports Radio family. And then we'll be back to talk about the next stop on the road to WrestleMania, the Elimination Chamber. We're going to talk about that here next.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Alright guys, welcome back to the IE Elite Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your boy, the SoCal Saint. If you're just tuning in, we're just going over the Royal Rumble and talking about the two main event matches already set for this year's WrestleMania. The SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair defending against Women's Royal Rumble winner Rhea Ripley, and the Universal Championship match, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. But before we get to WrestleMania, we got another stop on the way. The Elimination Chamber is going to be coming to you live Saturday, February 18th, and it's going to be live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Bell Center. That is actually the hometown of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So speculation is Sami Zayn, this is the rumor, it has not been announced, but because of what happened at the Royal Rumble, there's only one way that this goes. It's going to be Roman Reigns defending the title against Sami Zayn live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada at the Elimination Chamber. But right now, we only have two matches already announced for the Elimination Chamber Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and those two are Elimination Chamber matches. This past Monday Night on Raw, it was announced that Austin Theory would be defending his United States Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. Qualifying matches began this past Monday Night on Raw with Seth freaking Rollins, Johnny Gargano, and Bronson Reed earning their spots by defeating Chad Gable, Baron Corbin, and Dolph Ziggler. And this next Monday on Raw, we'll see more qualifying matches. Angelo Dawkins will be facing Damian Priest, and Montez Ford will be facing Elias. And the winners of those matches will get the final two spots in the six-man Elimination Chamber match for the WWE United States Championship. And since Rhea Ripley has made her choice to face the SmackDown Women's Champion, there needs to be a challenger for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship. And Adam Pearce, WWE official Adam Pearce, announced that because of this, they are going to have qualifying matches for excuse me, wow, I'm getting tongue-tied here. They're going to be having qualifying matches to earn spots into the Women's Elimination Chamber match for a shot at the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 39. And due to them being runner-ups in the Royal Rumble match, these four women have already been announced for the match. From the Raw side of things, Asuka and Nikki Cross are already announced for the Elimination Chamber match, and on the SmackDown side of things, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have already been named as participants in the Elimination Chamber match to decide who will face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. The fifth spot will be decided on the following week's episode of on Raw. This is going to be a fatal 4-way match. Well, excuse me. They're actually going to be needing two more qualifying matches, but one of these spots is going to be decided. The 5th spot will be decided this coming Monday night on Raw in a fatal 4-way match. Will be between Candice LeRae, Michin, Mia Yim, Piper Niven, and the returning Carmella. So we still have 2 spots to be filled, but only 1 spot will be filled this coming Monday night on Raw in a fatal 4-way match between Candice LeRae, Michin, Mia Yim, Piper Niven, and Carmella. So those are the only 2 matches that are so far announced for the next stop on the road to WrestleMania, the Elimination Chamber, which is coming to you live February 18th, 2023, Saturday, live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Bell Center Arena. All right, guys. Well, that's all you have. That's all we have today. That's all I got for you in the world of wrestling. This is all I got for you so far. Stick with me, guys. I'm going to be with you every step of the way to the road to WrestleMania. Again, I do apologize for the technical difficulties we went through yesterday, but I am back here, and I will be back live, normal scheduled time, next Tuesday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please be on the lookout for that live at iesportsradio.com/the IE Elite Wrestling Show, or at Spreaker.com, of course, live at IE Sports Radio. Just look us up, and you will find the live feed and listen to all of our awesome shows when they're live. You can follow me on the Twitter at SoCal Saint, and you can follow IE Sports Radio at IE Sports Radio is the main page. This has been the IE Elite Wrestling Show with your boy, the SoCal Saint, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the IE Sports Radio Network, your direct feed for all that is sports. Take care, guys. Fort Worth residents, if you're listening live, stay warm, stay safe, stay indoors. If you don't have to drive, don't. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care, guys.